brothers and sisters from Ordu and Şanlıurfa, with whom we are virtually connected, distinguished members of AK Party organization, valuable ladies and gentlemen, guarantee of our future, dear youth, I would like to salute you all with the most heartfelt sentiments, love and longing. From Ankara, we send our greetings to Ordu and Şanlıurfa and all friends at cause who share our excitement in Ankara. Together with Ankara Provincial Congress, simultaneously, we organize Ordu and Şanlıurfa Provincial Congresses. And I would like to congratulate all colleagues, all brothers and sisters who take roles in the organization of our Congress and wish them the best of success. From its foundation on, there have been many who took roles in our organization, and I would like to thank to all brothers and sisters who served for our party and pray for the mercy of God on the souls of all friends who passed away. With our Congress today, we will have completed the 72nd Provincial Congress, and hopefully during the course of the next week we will be organizing the provincial congresses that still have in our we still have in our agenda, and we will finalize the whole process. Followingly, all circles, all ranks of AK Party will be united for the 7th Grand Ordinary Congress of AK Party. Even though due to the coronavirus pandemic, we are organizing our congresses in a way that we fully not desire, we still, as seen, have lost nothing from our joy and excitement and enthusiasm. We care a lot about our people's health without risking public health. We, abiding by the rules of the pandemic and the measures taken thereon, we turn our congresses into festivities, if you will. Thanks to this series of congresses, we further strengthen our fraternity, and on the other hand, we try to renew our ranks. I personally have observed once again throughout our congresses that AK Party is the most dynamic, most embracing party of our country, and has the highest level of representation of our country with its more than 11 million members. Distinguished brothers and sisters, AK Party stands for the unity of our nation, its togetherness, its fraternity, and holds it dearly and protects in the most secure and safe fashion. And AK Party is the political party which is able for that. And on the other hand, there are some who turn the assemblies into gladiator arenas. And indeed, when they smear on AK Party, it only gives me a smile. Using fetter tactics, there are some who use footages and try to damage this very joy we have in this room, but their activities will be to no avail. You cannot hide the rays of sun. It will still rise, and their lies, of course, are revealed every time and soon enough, even though they continue to apply a higher dosage of slander and insults, they cannot prevent AK Party's march into the future. There are some who are willing to work under the roof of AK Party, and thanks be to God, the number of those who are willing to work under our roof is ever increasing, and the assurance of our unity and togetherness, the People's Alliance, is ever growing stronger every passing day, despite all the attacks and insult by some forwarded to us. And I am in love with you. I see the excitement of our youth, the experience of our seasoned, and with those we continue with our struggle. And on this path we have many brave people who would march towards martyrdom without a blink. And we walk on this path with the courage of heroes. And on this path we walk with the patience of the Diyarbakır mothers who are on a watch for more than 530 days. Mr. Kemal, do you hear the outcries of Diyarbakır mothers? With no shame about our 13 martyrs, he went ahead and said, the president responsible for the loss of 13 citizens of our country. Do you have no shame? For 5 years, for 6 years, we were following very closely those 13 people we unfortunately lost, and how come do you still not comprehend and accuse us, saying the president is responsible for that? I sent you the Minister of Interior Affairs and the Minister of National Defense, but you still fall short to understand. And with your mindset, it is but only shamelessness, and we will still not turn back away from our path. You may walk hand in hand, arm in arm with terrorists, but in Gabar, in Judit, in Besla River, and in all treacherous terrains, we will continue to put up our struggle against terrorists. And you can only but stand as a mere bystander, watch as a mere bystander. And we will walk with the nobleness of the fathers of martyrs. We on this path walk with the spirit and sincerity of many. We on this path walk with the spirit of and resistance of our women who resisted against the tanks on the night of July 15. And you still are the coward men who took refuge on the premises of the municipality on the night of defiance, July 15. As Piru Sultan said, let me burn in the fire of love. I will not turn back away from my path. Let the others do. Let them do however I want. And that's why, as Yunus Emre said, There are roads that are endless. There are eyes that see the truth of God. And there are soldiers who are brave. And that's why we are on this holy path to win the hearts of many, and we take our source of inspiration from our martyrs, and we will continue to march on this very path, and we will turn those dens into graveyards for those terrorists. In spite of those who opened their doors to the terrorists, we have never compromised on our dignity, our decency, our principled and honored stance. Despite those who serve the terrorist organizations, we will continue to march on this path with our nation. And those who are not even able to condemn the terrorist organization, the separatist terror group, we will continue on our path. And Mr. Kemal, can you call those terrorist organizations terrorists? No, he can't. But still, we walk onto them, on them with fury, and we will continue. And there are those who are not able to call still those terrorist organizations what they are. And these can these people cannot talk about consciousness because we do not make politics to look lovely to the enemies of the nation and country. We are doing politics to serve our nation, our dearly friend. And no matter what we do what's necessary, and when necessary, if need be, we never refrain from risking our lives. Kılıçdaroğlu and his proponents should know we will risk our lives, but we will never yield to terrorists. We will lose our heads, but we will never bow to them. And every time for this heavenly grounds of our mother nation, motherland, we have never surrendered, and we will not surrender. We have set on this journey with the vision for a fully independent country, a regional leader of a country, from Daesh to FETÖ, from PKK to DHKPC. We fought on this path against many hordes of murderers. You should first purge all DHKPC members from the ranks of your party, Mr. Kemal, and we will reveal that truth as well. We fought the gangs that stood against the government. We fought tanks and aircrafts and defied them on the night of July 15. But thanks be to God, we have always done what was necessary for the kindness to be bestowed on us by our nation. Dear youth, are we ready for this? As Rabia, are we ready for this? And from Ankara here, let's make a call on the whole country. Rabia. Are we ready for Rabia? one nation,
tek bayrak,
one flag,
tek vatan,
one homeland,
tek devlet.
one state.
Bir olacağız.
We will be one.
İri olacağız.
We will be great.
Diri olacağız.
We will be alert.
Kardeş olacağız.
We will be brothers and sisters, and all together we will be Turkey.
Buyurun.
Please have a seat.
Terörün başını ezene bu ülkede terör
Crushing the
sorununu
heads of
kökten çözene
terrorists
kadar mücadelemizi kararlılıkla
and
sürdüreceğiz.
solving the terror issue
Sınırlarımız içinde ve
fully
dışında
in our country will be our priorities until we neutralize each and every terrorist within and outside our borders. We will continue to launch our operations. May God grace us with many more years to come to serve for this great nation. Until our last breath, hopefully, God will allow us to be on the same path of service for the country and for our nation. Distinguished brothers and sisters at cause, in your person, I would like to congratulate all members of our nation for the night of Regaib, which we will experience and enjoy tomorrow. And I pray to God that He also bestows us with the months of Muharram and Ramadan, as He has done in this very month of Rajab, our holy month. And these holy months that surrender the whole humanity dearly and embrace also are the rare times that give us the opportunity to further strengthen our solidarity and togetherness. In particular, during this moment of time, when we fight the coronavirus pandemic, PARTİ organizational ranks need to assume more responsibility. And we also, unfortunately, have witnessed the departure of many brothers and sisters. Professor Burhan left us, as you know, and the former mayor of Istanbul Greater Municipality, Mr. Kadir Topbaş, our brother, left us, and also many other colleagues, many brothers and sisters, unfortunately, throughout this period, passed away. However, we believe in one fact. We have come from Allah, and we will return to Him yet again. As in the whole world, in our country as well, the conditions of the pandemic made our people encounter many unexpected and unique challenges. As state authorities, from the first days of the pandemic on, within and outside the country, we have always stood with our people. And right now, in the vaccination, we have thankfully administered more than 5.2 vaccines, and our vaccination campaign is ongoing. We have accomplished our goals, even though some do speculate. We are fully aware of the restrictions related with the pandemic and the challenge our SMEs, our workers have endured. And to support them, we have declared many financial packages and incentives. And today, during our presidential cabinet meeting, we will elaborate on various other issues and share them with our people right after the presidential cabinet meeting. And we, during this pandemic, have increased our number of hospital beds and ICU, and with more than 1.1 professionals of our health army, we have managed this process very successfully. We have further strengthened our health infrastructure by inaugurating many new hospitals. As you know, Mr. Kemal in Adana claims to have a field hospital, but they do lie all the time, day and night. This is how their lives go on. We have never deprived our citizens and have never left them alone. And all our city hospitals and other hospitals took to front lines in the fight against the coronavirus. And as you know, we in 45 days built an emergency case hospital with a capacity of 1,008 beds in the former premises of Atatürk Airport, and we similarly built one more in Sancaktepe. And with this Sancaktepe, we have the same number of rooms and bed capacity, but however, other than the regular rooms in those hospitals, we have 18 operation theaters each for these two hospitals. And people now will be able to land to the airport and in just 5 minutes are able to go to the hospitals. But the lack of vision, disgrace, lack of ability, absence of skills of the opposition party have now been exposed and ratified one more time during the phase of the pandemic. And in the fight against pandemic, Turkish institutions have been set as examples. And the opposition said this is a waste of time and money, and these were not necessary. But thanks be to God, those hospitals saved the lives of tens of thousands of people. Many people lost their lives due to lack of knowledge, and we know in the West and in the US, in many Western countries, people were not able to and are still not to find face masks, but our citizens have never gone through such challenges. We saw footage in which we saw the nursing homes turned into morgues. But we have never experienced such in our country. My brothers and sisters, the CHP chairperson recently reiterates that they have not stood in the way of AK Parti's actions, and a CHP chairperson probably has never learned what we have done and what steps we have taken for our country, from health to education to infrastructure. And he very easily obviously forgets what we do. And if he goes to history books, he will see the clunky politics of CHP back in time, and if he goes through some old newspapers, he will see that CHP is corruption, is void of action and service. And even if he goes on to the street and asks a passerby, he will learn from them what a CHP could not do in the past. To refresh our memories, I would like to ask, when we liberated had cover wearing through constitutional amendments, weren't you the ones that rushed to the State Council? And did you not go to the Constitutional Court in order not to
meslek liseleri
have
ve
the
imam hatiplere yönelik katsayı zulmüne
law that
sahip çıkanlar
stipulated the
siz değil
removal
miydiniz?
of the
Daha bir
ban
yıl öncesine
for
kadar
the
şehit
head
hastanelerimizi
covers.
kötüleyenler
And
siz değil miydiniz?
weren't you again the ones
Avrasya
that
Tüneli'ne,
smeared on
asrın
our
projesi
city
Marmara'ya,
hospitals
Yavuz
very
Sultan Selim
recently
Köprüsü'ne,
about Yavuz
Osman
Sultan Selim
Gazi
Bridge,
Köprüsü'ne
Osman
karşı
Gazi Bridge,
çıkanlar
or Eurasia
siz
Tunnel?
değil miydiniz?
Weren't you the ones who stood
Ankara'da
in our
kendisinin de
way
her gün
and
kullandığı
opposed
Malazgirt bulvarına
against?
karşı çıkanlar
And again,
siz
were
değil
you not
miydiniz?
the ones who
Cumhurbaşkanlığı
opposed
Külliyesi'ne
to the construction
olmadık
of
iftiraları atanlar
Malazgirt Boulevard in
siz değil miydiniz
Ankara?
Bay Kemal?
And again, were you not the
Yattın,
one, Mr.
kalktın,
Kemal,
yattın,
who
kalktın,
opposed the presidential
Cumhurbaşkanlığı
palace
Külliyesi'yle uğraştın.
complex? Day
Danıştay'ın
and night,
kararları
all
ortada
you
olduğu
did
halde
was to
Cumhurbaşkanlığı
get
Külliyesi'yle
yourself
uğraştın.
involved
Gezi
with
olayları
the
sırasında
presidential complex
vandallarla beraber
during Gezi Park
İstanbul,
protests. You
Ankara'yı
acted
ateşe
with the
verenler,
vandals
belediye
and
otobüslerini
you
yakanlar
acted
siz değil miydiniz?
and stood with those who set the
PYD'li
cities
teröristler
and
tam 5 sene önce
public
bugün
buses on
Merasim
fire.
sokakta
The
28
municipalities just
vatandaşımızı
5
şehit ederken
years ago
vatanlarını savunuyorlar diyerek bu terör örgütünü aklamaya çalışanlar siz değil miydiniz?
the municipalities
Türk
of
ekonomisi krize
HDP
girsin diye el
killed
ovuşturan, eline geçirdiği her
18
fırsatı
people 5 years ago, and weren't you again the ones who stood
siz
with them?
değil miydiniz?
And have you not used our domestic
Darbe
politics
anayasasından
to
kurtarmak için attığımız adımları
make
sabote eden
complaints to external
değil
foreign
miydiniz?
parties about our country?
CHP Genel
And
Başkanı
were you again not
bunları unutmuş
the
olabilir.
ones who sabotaged our
benim
activities for
Ankaralı
improvement and
hemşerilerim,
development?
benim
Maybe the
Ordulu,
chairperson of
Şanlıurfalı
CHP
kardeşlerim,
himself has
CHP'nin
forgotten
ve
all of
başındaki zatın
those, but
neler
my
yaptığını
83
gayet iyi
million
hatırlıyor.
people remember very clearly
Kardeşlerim,
what this person chairing
İstiklal
CHP
Marşı
has done
şairimiz
and said
Mehmet Akif
very
ne
vividly.
güzel söylemiş.
The poet of
Şarkı
our
anmaz,
national anthem, Mehmet
şarkı
Akif,
bilmez.
said
Edepten yok
there are some
payesi.
who know
Bir
nothing of the
kızarmaz
west or the
yüz,
east, have no
bir yaşarmaz
disgrace
göz,
or
kimser
shame, and a pair of eyes that do not weep,
Arsızlıktan kızarmayan
and a
yüzleri,
shameless
nasır tutmuş
face
kalpleriyle
are
onlar
the capital
ulussalarda
of some
bu millet
only.
CHP'nin
So we know
takoz
that
siyasetini
there are
gayet iyi
some
hatırlıyor.
people as such
Gayet
who
iyi
never
biliyor.
feel
CHP'nin
ashamed or
yaptıklarını unutmadığı
a
için de
slightest
milletimiz emaneti bunlara
amount of shame
asla teslim
and blushing up,
etmedi.
but
Kıymetli
our
dava
nation
arkadaşlar,
knows who they are
muhalefetin bu
and never
tükenmişliği,
entrust
AK Parti
the
ve
future of
Cumhur
our
İttifakı
country
olarak
to
bizim
them.
yükümüzü daha
As,
da ağırlaştırmaktadır.
The AK Party
Biz
and People's
günü
Alliance
kurtarmanın değil,
that
her karışı şehit kanlarıyla
we have
sulanmış
more
güzel
load on
ülkeyi
our
geleceğe
shoulders
taşımanın
because of
gayreti.
the disgrace and
Bay
lack of
Kemal
decency.
iyi
We
savunuyor.
are only
Şu anda
exerting efforts to move
Almanya
our country
o
forward.
bölgelere
Mr.
kaçmış
Kemal,
olan
who do you
Dündar'ı
stand for?
savunuyor.
He is defending
Ve
Dündar,
karşısında
who fled to Germany,
kimi savunuyor?
and he
Selo'yu
supports
savunuyor.
him.
Ve
And
bunların
who
suçlu
else he
olmadığına
supports? He
adeta
supports,
hükmediyor.
Mr. Kemal
Biz
supports,
Türkiye'ye
defends
dair hedefleri,
Selo.
bu ülkeye dair hayalleri olan bir kadroyuz.
However, we
Bizim
have
teröristleri savunmak diye
a
bir
team
derdimiz olamaz.
and we have our
Bunun için
ranks
hiçbir zaman gözümüzü
that never
ufuktan
defend terrorists.
ayırmayacağız.
That's why we will
Hedeflerimize
never
ve hedeflerimizle aramıza kimsenin
move our
girmesine
sight
müsaade
from open horizons, and we will never allow anyone to
davamıza
come in
hayal
between us and
getirmeden
our nation
halka hizmet,
uh,
hakka hizmettir
for
prensibiyle
serving
çalışacak, daha fazla koşturacağız. Meşrebi,
to our nation and to serve our God, we will work relentlessly. We will be delivering our messages to all 83 million, regardless of their roots, religions, ethnicities, or whatsoever. We will be among the people, and we will do all we will do with our nation instead of and on contrary to what the others do with their ivory towers. And we will be standing with all our people, all members of this nation, in every struggle, as we have done so far and in the past. We will knock on the doors of those in needy. We will rush to their help as AK Party teams. We know that there are some who distance themselves from the nation, who structure up walls in between themselves and the nation. But such a movement will only arrive in the dusty pages of history. Our political life is full of such similar examples. Despite all the attacks, treason, and operations, the GDP stands tall and sound, and the reason for that is the sincere bonds we have built with our nation. What has brought us to power and kept us in power for 18 years is the fact that our nation sees its future in AK Party. In 2002, our nation gave us the role and trusted the country to us, and in all 15 elections we participated to, they showed their support to us in the ballot boxes. Regardless of a position, title, or chair, all of us, myself included, have no right to make such a support and trust to go in vain. Do not forget, we still have much more to do. Turkey expects much more from our teams. Ordu, Ankara, and Şanlıurfa expect us to work even harder. And they expect us to work with the joy, with the excitement we had on the very first day. And I expect all our colleagues to uphold their cause strongly. May God help us and be with us. I congratulate all my colleagues who took roles in the organization of our Congress, and I thank you and extend my gratitude to all brothers and sisters who have held the AK Party flag high and flying. Now we will connect to the other cities. I also would like to see my brothers and sisters from there. First, we will connect to Ordu and then Şanlıurfa, and then we will come back to Ankara. Are we ready now?
Evet, şöyle ekranda Ordu'yu görelim.
Okay. Let's now see Ordu province on the screen, and I would love to see my brothers and sisters from Ordu standing up.
Evet, Ordu İl Başkanımız
Mr. Halit Tomakin, the provincial head of Ordu.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, mevsimin en yoğun kar yağışının olduğu bu günde 772 mahalle, 19 ilçe, 772 mahalle, 19 ilçe, 19 belediye başkanımızla beraber emir ve görüşlerinize ordumuz hazırdır Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım.
Çok teşekkür ediyorum. Şimdi
Thank you
Ordu
very
Kadın
much.
Kolları Başkanımız
Now
Ayşegül
we will leave the